Hello everyone, and welcome to Earth Archives. In recent years, the most well-known medication is undoubtedly the fever-reducing drug. Since the outbreak of the pandemic, this drug has become a must-have in every household's medicine cabinet, becoming an everyday guest in our lives. Whether it's for a fever, headache, or general discomfort, the presence of fever-reducing drugs is ubiquitous, providing temporary relief and comfort to countless people. However, have you ever thought about the fascinating and profound story hidden behind this seemingly simple medication? It is not only listed by the World Health Organization on the essential medicines list, but almost everyone has used it at some point, and it has even saved countless lives. Yet, the creation of this life-saving wonder drug did not happen overnight. Its invention process was filled with twists and surprises. The inventor of the fever-reducing drug was a British pharmaceutical chemist named Stuart Adams. You may not have heard of his name, but his achievements have influenced the entire pharmaceutical field and changed the lives of countless families. The story begins in the 1950s when Adams was working at a pharmaceutical company in the UK, dedicated to developing new drugs. At the time, the field of fever-reducing drugs was mainly dominated by medications like aspirin. But these drugs' side effects, especially their stomach irritation, made it difficult for many patients to use them long-term. Adams' research focus was originally not on developing fever-reducing drugs, but on exploring how to create a more effective medication with fewer side effects. It was during an accidental experiment that Adams discovered a chemical substance called ibuprofen, a compound that effectively relieves pain, reduces fever, and has less impact on the stomach. This discovery was groundbreaking. Adams and his team conducted repeated experiments and tests before finally bringing this drug to market. With the launch of ibuprofen, it quickly became a star in the world of fever-reducing, pain-relieving, and anti-inflammatory drugs. Due to its safety and efficacy, it rapidly spread worldwide. Adams' research focus was originally not on developing fever-reducing drugs, but on exploring how to create a more effective medication with fewer side effects. It was during an accidental experiment that Adams discovered a chemical substance called ibuprofen, a compound that effectively relieves pain, reduces fever, and has less impact on the stomach. This discovery was groundbreaking. Adams and his team conducted repeated experiments and tests before finally bringing this drug to market. With the launch of ibuprofen, it quickly became a star in the world of fever-reducing, pain-relieving, and anti-inflammatory drugs. Due to its safety and efficacy, it rapidly spread worldwide. From a poor family to becoming a drug inventor. The story of Stuart Adams can be considered a classic tale of rising from adversity. He was not born with extraordinary talent, but through his unwavering determination and love for science, he eventually became a world-renowned drug inventor. His past was far from glamorous and was filled with challenges and hardships. He was born in 1923, at a time when the UK was just emerging from the shadow of World War I. The country was still reeling from the devastation of the war and maintaining its reputation as the empire on which the sun never sets. However, Adams' family situation stood in stark contrast to the grandeur of that era. Adams' father worked as a railway employee, and the family's income was modest. With 5 children in the household, the scale of the family and the economic pressures made Adams aware of the difficulties of life from a young age. In this environment, he knew that he could not rely on his family to support his education, which led him to take on the burden of survival early on. At the age of 16, Adams had to leave school and follow the path of many others from poor families. He became an apprentice at a pharmacy. This was a common choice, especially for young people like Adams who could not afford tuition. Becoming a pharmacy apprentice offered a practical way out. Although Adams' starting point was not high and his work mainly involved selling medicines, this did not deter him from his passion for medicine and pharmacy. It was this passion that gradually sparked a greater desire for knowledge within him. Through his daily work at the pharmacy, He not only learned how to interact with customers, but also gained a deep understanding of the importance of medicine to people's health. In his heart, the dream of one day making a significant impact in the field of pharmacy began to take root. This ideal was not a fleeting impulse, but gradually developed over time through his continuous learning and work, eventually becoming the mission of his life. During his younger years, Adams did not stop his pursuit of learning. Despite the challenges his family faced, which at one point hindered his further education, he did not give up. As time passed, Adams' knowledge in pharmacy grew deeper, and he began to gain recognition in the industry. His persistence and hard work ultimately gave him the opportunity to join a pharmaceutical company, where he began his later work in drug research. Fearless of hardship, pursuing pharmaceutical science. Adams' apprenticeship at the pharmacy was not an easy path for him. Despite the many challenges in his early life, he always maintained a strong passion for the field of pharmacy. During his 3 years as a pharmacy apprentice, Adams did not simply view the job as a means of making a living. Instead, he devoted himself wholeheartedly to learning, carefully observing and familiarizing himself with the characteristics and uses of various medicines. This experience played a crucial role in his future journey into pharmaceutical research. However, Adams was not satisfied with his current achievements. As a pharmacy apprentice, although he had already earned his qualifications as a pharmaceutical technician and received recognition from his superiors, this did not quell his deep desire for further knowledge. He yearned to delve deeper into the core of pharmacy and explore more of the mysteries surrounding drugs. In pursuit of this goal, Adams bravely requested further education from his company. Fortunately, his efforts paid off, and the company agreed to fund his continued studies, allowing him to successfully earn a bachelor's degree in pharmacy. However, this was not the end for Adams. As his knowledge accumulated and his academic understanding grew, his thirst for learning became even stronger. He did not stop at the pinnacle of a bachelor's degree, but decided to continue his studies and pursue higher academic achievements. Thus, Adams once again immersed himself fully in academic research, ultimately earning a PhD in pharmacology. All of this hard work and dedication not only changed Adams' fate, but also laid a solid foundation for his future success. His deep understanding of pharmacy and his relentless spirit of exploration ultimately made him a world-renowned pharmaceutical chemist, leaving an indelible mark in the field of drug development. Exploring the world of pharmaceuticals, a breakthrough at last. Adams' medical career has been characterized by a spirit of continuous breakthroughs and fearless exploration. His efforts in the field of pharmacology eventually led him to join a major pharmaceutical company, where he became a member of its research and development team. Upon joining the company, he immediately immersed himself in a significant project at the time, the production of Chome, a groundbreaking development in the pharmaceutical world. The development of Chome was a revolutionary breakthrough for the medical community, and as a part of this team, Adams gained invaluable experience through the process. However, despite his accomplishments in drug research and development, Adams still felt that his understanding of this vast and intricate field was insufficient. He believed that medical knowledge and technology were boundless, which kept him constantly yearning to learn more. As a result, Adams was not content with his current success and decided to continue his studies to enhance his professional skills, paving the way for future breakthroughs. In 1953, Adams made an important decision. He was going to tackle the severe pain issues faced by patients with rheumatoid arthritis. Rheumatoid arthritis is an incredibly debilitating disease, with patients often suffering unbearable joint pain. At the time, the main painkiller on the market, aspirin, could relieve pain but came with several side effects. Adverse reactions such as bleeding and indigestion made many patients feel even more uncomfortable after taking the medication. Therefore, Adams had a clear goal. He was determined to develop a painkiller with minimal side effects and longer-lasting effectiveness. Becoming a guinea pig, fighting for the ideal drug. Adams' pharmaceutical research was not as smooth as the outside world might have imagined. Starting in 1953, he and his team tested hundreds of compounds, even trying as many as 600 different drugs over several years. Each experiment came with countless hopes and challenges, but the results were often disappointing. The drugs' effects were frequently far from what they had expected, and the side effects were hard to ignore. This led Adams and his team to experience repeated setbacks. Throughout this long process, Adams never gave up, though he faced countless frustrations and confusion. By 1960, after clinical trials of the 4 most promising drugs, all of them failed, a blow that nearly sent Adams into despair. However, the turning point of fate often arrives unexpectedly. Just when Adams was feeling his most discouraged, in 1960, he was invited to attend a pharmacology conference in Moscow. The cold weather during the trip made him feel unwell, triggering a severe headache that made attending the conference extremely painful. Bored and desperate, he decided to take a drug that was still in experimental stages. Originally, he only wanted to try it, but to his surprise, the drug quickly alleviated his headache and even helped him feel revitalized enough to complete his presentation. This serendipitous event undoubtedly marked a major turning point in Adams' research. He began to realize that this drug might be the answer he had been searching for. Adams decided to dedicate himself once again to studying this drug, no longer content with the preliminary results. Rather than merely conducting research, Adams began using his own body as the most authentic test subject. He repeatedly used the drug, constantly adjusting the dosage and formulation with each test. Adams understood that the success of a drug depended not only on scientific experiments, but also on the accumulation of time and experience. This effort was not achieved overnight. After 8 years of relentless pursuit, the drug finally saw the light of success. Its effectiveness was proven, and its side effects were minimized, making it significantly superior to other drugs on the market. This drug became the globally popular ibuprofen. Adams' persistence and innovation ultimately made this drug a star in the world of pain relief and fever reduction, changing the lives of millions of patients. The birth of ibuprofen. In 1962, Adams and his team finally filed for a patent for the drug that had been the result of years of effort and refinement. After 7 years of waiting and evaluation, in 1969, the drug was approved and officially launched as a prescription medication under the name ibuprofen. The birth of ibuprofen was not only a revolution in the pharmaceutical industry, but it also became an essential medicine in countless households worldwide, changing the way people used and understood pain relievers and fever reducers. The success of ibuprofen was undoubtedly the culmination of years of hard work by Adams and his team, but its impact didn't end there. The uniqueness of ibuprofen lies in its remarkably low side effects, particularly its much lower gastrointestinal irritation compared to traditional aspirin. This made it the preferred choice for many patients. Over time, ibuprofen gradually became a popular product in the global pharmaceutical market, widely used for pain relief, fever reduction, and inflammation, becoming an indispensable member of household medicine cabinets. The success of this drug was undoubtedly a rebirth for the pharmaceutical company at the time. Ibuprofen became the company's most competitive product, helping it successfully enter the U.S. market, which was a highly challenging expansion at the time. The U.S. market had strict requirements for medications, but ibuprofen, with its excellent efficacy and low side effects, earned the trust of consumers, successfully entering the mainstream market and establishing a widespread global sales network. Adams and his team ultimately not only changed the landscape of the pharmaceutical market, but also brought a blessing to countless patients. The widespread use of ibuprofen made pain relief and fever reduction treatments safer and more effective, offering the benefit of affordable pricing to people around the world. For Adams, this was not only a major success in his career, but also the realization of his passion and dream in pharmaceutical science, to develop a drug that could truly benefit humanity. For the benefit of the public, Adams gave up patent fees. After inventing ibuprofen and successfully bringing it to the market, Adams made a deeply admirable decision. He chose to forego all patent fees and made this highly effective drug available at a low cost to people worldwide. This choice was undoubtedly an extraordinary sacrifice for him, as it meant he gave up the opportunity to gain considerable wealth through patents. Had he chosen to sell the patent rights for ibuprofen to pharmaceutical companies or collect patent royalties, he could have become a wealthy man and lived a luxurious life. However, Adams did not take this shortcut. His reasoning was perhaps simple, but extremely powerful. He wanted the drug to be available at the most affordable price and benefit as many people in need as possible. For Adams, the creation of ibuprofen was not about pursuing personal wealth or fame. It was about helping those suffering from various pains, especially those who could not afford expensive medications. He deeply understood that people around the world, regardless of their financial status, should have access to basic health care and should not be forced to forego treatment because of high costs. Adams' decision undoubtedly moved many people. He chose to dedicate his invention to the world, placing the value of the drug above monetary gain and prioritizing human well-being. In a world filled with competition and self-interest, Adams' choice stands out as particularly precious. His selflessness and nobility made ibuprofen not just a medication, but a shared blessing for people around the globe. The popularity of ibuprofen and Adams' life. The success of ibuprofen far exceeded Adams' expectations, as it became a best-selling drug in the global pharmaceutical market. Whether in a remote village in Afghanistan or a bustling pharmacy in a metropolis, the presence of this drug was everywhere. People no longer had to endure various pains or high medical costs, as ibuprofen became a must-have in almost every household. For Adams, this outcome was undoubtedly the best reward for his years of effort and dedication. However, despite ibuprofen's global fame, Adams never immersed himself in fame and wealth. On the contrary, he would occasionally visit pharmacies, purchase the drug he invented, and patiently listen to the pharmacist's medication advice. This behavior might seem unusual, given that he was the inventor of the drug and the person who understood ibuprofen better than anyone else. But it was precisely this humility and attention to detail that showcased Adams' distinctive attitude toward life and his personal charm. He never placed himself on a pedestal, but always maintained respect for the ordinary things, which earned him the admiration of countless people. Adams once jokingly said that he was the only person who lost money by inventing ibuprofen. This statement carried a touch of self-deprecation and reflected his indifference to money and fame. For many people, inventing a globally popular drug means accumulating wealth and endless glory. But for Adams, these were far less important than seeing more people around the world benefit from his invention. He did not seek personal wealth, but instead devoted his efforts to the world, allowing more patients to receive effective treatment at a lower cost. The peak of life and the path he chose. Adams' persistence and selflessness ultimately received the recognition they deserved. Not only did he leave a deep mark on the field of pharmacy, but he also received the prestigious Order of the British Empire from the Queen of the United Kingdom for his outstanding contributions to human health. This honor, one of the highest awards, symbolized his selfless dedication to both his country and the world. Additionally, Adams was awarded 2 Blue National Chemical Monuments by the Royal Society of Chemistry, recognizing not only his professional achievements, but also his relentless effort and scientific spirit. These honors are undoubtedly the best testament to Adams' lifelong work and contributions. However, despite his remarkable achievements and the opportunity to amass great wealth through the ibuprofen patent, he chose to forego the patent royalties and decided to offer the drug at a lower price to people around the world. This decision not only demonstrated his loyalty to science, but also reflected his deep concern for the health and well-being of humanity. Adams was not a scientist who simply sought money or fame. His goal was never to accumulate wealth, but rather to bring about real change in the world. He chose a path that may not have been as glamorous, but was far more meaningful, ensuring that more people, regardless of their wealth, could easily access effective medication, alleviate their pain, and enjoy a better life. This choice caused him to miss the opportunity to become a wealthy man, but it brought him higher spiritual fulfillment and the respect of countless people. Adams' passing and his legacy. In 2019, at the age of 95, Stuart Adams quietly passed away, a news that deeply saddened the global medical, scientific communities and countless ordinary people. Although Adams' name may not be as widely known as some of the great inventors, his contributions are undeniable. He did not become a billionaire from inventing ibuprofen, a globally popular drug, but he lived a life of immense fulfillment because he knew that his invention had helped hundreds of millions of people, sparing countless families from long-term suffering and restoring health and hope. Adams' decision to forego patent royalties and make the drug affordable for the public not only meant he missed out on personal wealth, but it also brought him fulfillment on a far greater level. This selfless spirit of giving revealed his true greatness. He understood that the true value of a drug lies not in how much money it generates, but in how many people it helps and how much pain it alleviates. To him, this was the most prideful achievement of his life. Adams' choices and spirit resonate with a famous quote by Albert Einstein: "Every road of exploration contributes to science." Adams chose the road that was not driven by fame or fortune. His work and research were not motivated by a desire for wealth, but by a genuine concern for human health. This choice, though it did not make him a legendary millionaire, made him an eternal medicine god in the hearts of countless people. Stuart Adams, a drug inventor who never sought wealth or fame, spent his life working tirelessly to benefit countless people. Although he never became a billionaire, he created a great miracle in global health: ibuprofen. Since its inception, this drug has become a household staple in every corner of the world, providing effective pain relief and fever reduction for millions of patients. Even after his passing, ibuprofen continues to play a significant role globally, thanks to its excellent effectiveness and low side effects. It has become a classic in medical history, making an immeasurable contribution to human health. Adams' story is not just the success story of a scientist, but a legend of human compassion, responsibility, and dedication. His choice to forego patent royalties, allowing more people worldwide to benefit from this drug, undoubtedly made him a great figure in the pharmaceutical world. His name, just like ibuprofen, will forever shine in history, inspiring future generations to stay true to their ideals and courageously pursue their dreams. Let us remember the medicine god who changed the world, Stuart Adams. That's all for today's video. If you're interested in topics like this, feel free to leave a comment, and let's discuss together. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you next time.